Jax goes through on his own.
It was, until now at least, English football's defining moment. A captain from Barking, helped by lads from Ashington and Manchester, holding the Jules Rimet trophy aloft. Yet in the stands, not English flags, but Union Jacks. When Geoff Hurst scored, the crowd cried, "Rule Britannia." 30 years of hurt later, it was a different scene.
The crosses of St George are flying all around me!
Was Euro 96 the start of modern-day English nationalism? The football team as the institution of an identity. With that came a need to bring up the war, and don't forget the hooligans.
Chanting, flag waving, the mob smashing every panel and window within 60 seconds.
That became synonymous with the English abroad and repeated 2 decades later in France. But now, this England team and what it represents feels different. Harry Kane wearing a rainbow armband, Raheem Sterling criticising his coverage in the press. And then there's the taking of the knee, something a majority of English fans support, and yet which has still caused controversy.
I just don't support, people participating in, that type of gesture politics to a certain extent as well.
The success of this squad has perhaps silenced the doubters and even converted them to an England of football talent and progressive values. Football's a bit of a paradox. It's tribal, but it's also a unifier. It's just a game, but it means so much more. It's an escape from society, but it also reflects it. So what does this football team mean for English identity? Does it represent something new, something more inclusive? Or is it just giving a voice to a country that's felt lost for decades? A year after Euro 96, Tony Blair was elected in a landslide, with supporters chanting "Labour's coming home" outside Downing Street. But they were waving different flags elsewhere as devolution came home to 3 of the 4 nations.
This is a good day for Scotland, and it's a good day for Britain and the United Kingdom too.
For Blair, this was strengthening the union. But as the devolved nations found new civic institutions, what about England? Tory leader William Hague warned of the consequences of the English feeling left behind.
Try to ignore this English consciousness or bottle it up, and it could turn into a more dangerous English nationalism that could threaten the future of the United Kingdom.
And so Englishness felt at a loss, always clinging to the past.
Wherever the Union Jack flies, May the 24th is celebrated as Empire Day.
Britishness historically was defined by empire and war, disparate nations fighting against a common enemy. But what now? Gordon Brown tried his best to define it.
Geographically, Britain is a group of islands, and today united not by race or ethnicity, but by distinctive values that have over time shaped the institutions of this multinational state.
Positive, welcoming, generous, dynamic, all those sorts of things.
Did sports help reconjure the magic of the kingdom? 2012 brought collective pride in an almost completely well-run event, and from those hot summer days to one June night in 2016.
We've got our country back!
But which country? England and Wales in favour, Northern Ireland and Scotland opposed. Was Brexit less about the union together, but one bit alone? Just ask the fans.
We'll vote it out! We'll vote it out! Au revoir, Europe! We'll vote it out!
5 years later, football and the union are transformed, with the pandemic causing yet more splintering. Downing Street's flags may be Jack's, but it now represents George. As Britishness fades and the English claim whatever's left, does the football team become its symbol of progress and diversity? Or does losing on Sunday render the whole project bankrupt? And that's football, isn't it? It all comes down to 90 minutes. Win and you've made history. Lose and it could all go up in smoke.